In this video, we're going to have a look at multiplication of fractions. Suppose 7 cakes were shared equally among 5 people, but you wanted to reduce the amount of cake each person received by a factor of 2/3. How much would each person then receive? The sum would be 2/3 times 7/5. We could also write it as so. We're reducing the number of cakes by a factor of 2/3, not the number of people. The fraction in the numerator is a little irritating, so let's multiply the numerator and the denominator by 3. This does not change the quantity. So we would have 2/3 times 7 times 3 over 5 times 3. Whatever we do to the numerator, we must do to the denominator so the quantity doesn't change. We can now see that we can do some cancelling. We've got 2 over 3, and it's also being multiplied by 3. So we would get 2 times 7 over 5 times 3, which is 14 over 15. The usual multiplication rule in high school is a fraction a over b times c over d would just be the product of the numerators, a times c, over the product of the denominators, b times d. Let's have a look if that's what we actually did. 2 times 7 being 14 over the product of the denominators, 3 times 5, 15. Now multiplication can also mean of. Let's consider 2/3 of 4/5. I've divided the rectangle into fifths. Let's shade 4 of them. Now I want to take 2/3 of this amount. I can then divide the 4/5 into thirds and shade 2 of them. The area shaded is our answer, but to see it as a fraction we need to draw in extra lines. We have 8 boxes shaded out of the total 15, which is 8/15. Again, it's the product of the numerators, 2 times 4, over the product of the denominators. Of can mean multiplication. Now let's look at multiplying by a whole number. 2/9 times 3. Now 3 can be written as a fraction over 1. In fact, any whole number can be written as a fraction over 1. So now we have 2 over 9 multiplied by 3 over 1. The product of the numerators, 2 times 3, and the product of the denominators is 6 over 9, or we can simplify to 2/3. Now suppose I gave you a more trickier multiplication of fraction problem. 39 over 7 times 14 over 13, but I asked you to solve it in only a few seconds. What we can do is break each number down to its factors. So 39 could be written in prime factors of 13 times 3 over 7, and 14 can be written as 2 times 7 over 13. Now we can see that we have factors in the numerator and the denominator. 13 on the numerator can be cancelled with the factor 13 in the denominator, and same with 7 in the numerator and 7 in the denominator. So we're left with the sum 3 times 2, which is 6. This process is called cancelling. We can cancel any common factors in the numerator and denominator. Let's do one more problem. 2/3 times 3/4 times 5/8. Rather than finding the product of the numerator and product of the denominators, we can do some cancelling. We have a 3 as a numerator and 3 as a denominator, and 4 can be written as 2 times 2. Now we have 2 in the numerator and 2 in the denominator. This leaves 5 over 2 times 8, or 5/16.